Hey folks, Sagar and I thought we needed to shoot a small little brief introduction. It's kind of like a disclaimer for the upcoming episode. The upcoming episode talks a lot about the socio-political condition of the country, and we
Mm.
understand that it can be a little bit controversial, but our intentions were not to spite anyone. They were simply self introspective because at the end of the day, it's still our home, right? And anyone who really wants to improve their home, the place that they stay, anyone who has that kind of intentions will always be introspective to try to work on the conditions so that the quality of life itself would improve and become better. So that being said, please know that whatever is discussed is all in good spirit and it's lighthearted, right? Anything you want to add to that, Sagar?
I think when we started NGL, right, we discussed something like this would happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I said was, we all need to like look inside
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of love. In this episode, it's like we are doing it as a country, with the identity of being an Indian.
Right. Yeah.
If we did come off as insensitive, that is not our intent. This is not an easy conversation to have, anyways. Things
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
socio-political stuff. It does tend to get heated because everybody does have strong opinions. What I really liked though was that even though everybody had different opinions, we all stayed there and spoke. We let the other person speak and we listened.
Mm-hmm.
That was something I really liked, and I feel that maybe through this episode we have that kind of an atmosphere in the country as well, where people are willing to listen,
Yeah.
let the other person speak.
That's
Right.
true. Yeah.
And that's also one of the things that comes with self-reflection.
Definitely.
So yeah, and thank you for Pratyush for being a part of this episode.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man, for coming
Yeah.
on. Like, although the episode can be a little heavy, there is a lot of weight to what you said. Like, we really appreciate you speaking about your mind on so and so topics, and we do feel it's important that some of these topics are brought to the masses so people know how things can be. I mean, the country's got a lot of potential, a crazy, 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 crazy amount of potential, right? And at the end of the day, who who isn't a patriot does not want us to reach that potential. And we believe to some of the topics and the ideas that he brought up, we can come closer to that.
Definitely. The manifesto that he had quite simple, foundational, like basic concepts that we could bring into us as society. But we're leaving it in the link
Mm-hmm.
in the description.
Mm-hmm. The word we're using is manifesto, but realistically, if you go ahead and read it, it's just it's just good healthy living, like good ethical living.
Yeah. So I feel like manifesto has like the word manifest in that. It's more
Yeah.
like a self affirmation kind of a note. You know,
Right. Yeah.
uh, be better, etc., etc. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of vibe I had when I read that. I think one more thing I think I want to address before we start the episode.
Yeah.
We shot this episode actually like 2 to 3 weeks back, and there was a lot of production issues because I was traveling, etc. So this episode is coming out quite late, and at actually a very interesting time because you know about the recent Kashmir.
Yeah. It's getting messy
Yeah,
up there. Yeah.
yeah. So we are at a very delicate state right now, and another reason we want to emphasize that this episode, whatever was shot, was because we cared for the country and because we love the country. We want to let people know that we were as sensitive as possible about it. And prayers to the people who lost their lives and their family and friends.
True. True.
And yeah,
Like absolute most heartfelt condolences to all the innocents who lost
yeah,
their lives and to those who are suffering now because of it.
yeah,
And to the survivors who are still suffering, we wish you the very best and we hope that
mm,
that the sun shines on you once again.
yeah, yeah.
That being said, I'd like to request all you viewers, like with how sensitive the upcoming topics could be, we'd ask that you take it a bit open-minded and let's all be respectful. And going forward, thank you for tuning in and enjoy the episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, want to get started.
What we are doing is basically what Americans do when they make butter chicken.
And then randomly out of the blue, I got in touch with you again and like, hey, listen, bro, Manifesto is here. Change is coming. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What happened to this guy? Dude?
This guy sent me the link within like 3 seconds after asking. And I was like, he's got it ready. What impressed me was not that he has a manifesto, but he has it ready right there.
Out of all races, Indians for some reason have the least shame. And I mean, come on, dude.
He kept on proposing for a marriage. Like, I want to marry you. I want to do this. I want to do that. And she's like, I'm a lesbian. And then he's like, okay, bring your girlfriend. We'll do it together. India has a very Chalta hai mentality. And you look at the myopic vision of our government. All of the solutions that our government creates are all band-aid solutions. I mean, think about it. We are making people like Elvish Yadav, people like, I don't know these dumb people who get massive amounts of fame for no reason. It's like, we don't want to evolve. We don't want to get better. That mentality of we don't want to be better is the worst thing that you can do.
It is estimated that within 5 to 10 years, we're going to lose our water table itself. Now, with how populous Bangalore is, can you imagine what's going to happen?
Bollywood, Salman Khan movies, I have zero idea why Salman Khan movies run till today. You look at the people, look at the Kunal Kamra situation, right? People are getting violent for comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in India, jokes are the crime and crimes are the joke.
Hi guys, welcome back to NGL, the People's Podcast. Neville and I are back here today again with Pratyush. We've got some crazy things lined up. Neville, take it away from here. Introduce Pratyush to us.
Right. So, welcome back. This is our second episode. Pratyush here is an old buddy of mine. I met him online. I think we met arguing with random North Indians, racist North Indians, if you know what that means. But it's a good time. He's a good friend of mine. Reason we brought him over is because he had some rather interesting, let's say, socio-political matters we thought we might discuss. You also may have some goings on, etc., which you might want to bring up depending on your condition. So, a bit of your background is you work in marketing, right? Like video game marketing? Digital marketing. Sagar is also in the same sector, so you guys can also bring that in a bit. Do you think you can tell us a little bit about yourself, in case I've missed something?
I mean, you missed the fact that I'm still North Indian and we were talking to a... Wait. Okay, fine. You're a mixed breed. I don't know what to say. But I'm Pratyush and I've been working in the digital marketing field for about 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you count like digital journalism, like I was a video game journalist before I became a marketeer. And I enjoy games. I enjoy anime, all the nerdy stuff. And I also enjoy playing football, but but I like looking at things like more than like deeper than the surface level. That's what I enjoy about all the things that I engage in.
Right. I mean, here's the interesting thing. You and Sagar have a bit in common because both of you actually have journalism backgrounds, although he's not the video game player, and then you've gone into marketing, etc. So I heard, or rather you've told me, that you've got a quote-unquote manifesto. Do you want to talk about it?
I mean, we can talk about it. That's not an issue, but like it's very intense. I'm not sure if you have read. I mean, I know Neville, you have read through it.
I read it.
Yeah,
you sent it in the morning. I read it. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people told me that it's a little too intense. Right. It's like too much for like. People don't realize. So see, I think one of the things that bugs me is that whenever you try to bring change in this country or anywhere, to be fair, people are like, it's not going to happen. You need to slowly change it, right? But the problem with the world in general is that changes are both positive and negative. And usually negative changes are the lazier route, which is like, if you have studied anything about like animal psychology or just organism psychology in general, you'll know that like any species will choose the most efficient or laziest way to get whatever it wants. Right?
Yeah.
So negative changes far outweigh the positive changes. So if someone is saying that, okay, the change will be gradual, they don't realize that the amount of negative changes that is going to happen in the same amount of time is going to be far more overwhelming, right?
Okay.
So it bugs me when people say that change is going to be gradual, because yes, like you look at any of the movements that started in 1930s, 1940s, 50s, sure, we have seen some progress, but we have just seen more regression than progress in a lot of areas, right? So yeah, I just like, so that is a much more like, at least from a friend of mine who I shared this with, he was like, this is very pragmatic, very radical, right? And a lot of people that I like, I didn't share it with a lot of people, but like the small circle that I shared it in, people are like, this is too intense, like people are not going to like follow this and stuff like that. But I'm like, even if you can inculcate the first page of that thing, right, that alone will solve at least 30 to 40% of the problems in this country.
I remember when I saw it, I don't know about intense. If you ask me, it's pretty standard for a manifesto, especially with some political changes. Considering how intense it is, what was your agenda? Like, why did you write it? Because as long as I've known you, you're a pretty chill guy. Just like goes with the flow, does everything. And then randomly out of the blue, I got in touch with you again and like, hey, listen, bro, manifesto is here. Change is coming. I'm like, what? Yeah. What happened to this guy, dude? So yeah, do you think you can like talk to us about the like why, like your motivation behind it?
So
I mean, how many people carry a manifesto with them or even for the writing one? This guy sent me the link within like 3 seconds after asking. And I was like, he's got it ready. What impressed me was not that he has a manifesto, but he has it ready right there, like to share it to people.
No, I mean, to be fair, it's just that like I'm seeing all this like stupidity around me, right?
Okay.
Like I was talking to you when we had the call earlier, right, Sagar? I was like, Pune didn't even see a winter this year. So usually, at least till last year, I would say, or last year, right? We needed a blanket, no fans on during winters between the time of November to January, right? This time the condition was such that we needed a fan on full blast at night. And we didn't need a blanket at all. That is a very clear sign of drastic change, because coming from so I used to live in Chennai when I came to Pune, right? And I was in 2007. I came to Pune. Before that, I was in Chennai. But your body gets accustomed in a couple of years, like 2-3 years. You go through the winters, but even then, you still required a bunch of stuff to be kept, like be heated, because coming from Chennai to Pune, it's a drastic weather shift, right? So yeah, I'm seeing all this weather changes, all these rivers getting dirty, and I saw a video from Japan, right, where some random river, you can literally see the, what do you call that? The river bed.
It's clear. It's like crystal.
It's clear. Yeah, exactly. And it's not because the water is clear, because it's a huge part of why that river is clean is because Japanese people are empathetic towards each other.
Okay.
They consider other people, like I was watching this Reddit post or something where like some guy was complaining about how some Indian man in UK, they were treating a UK bus like an Indian bus, and they had like their shoes on top of a seat, like they were like spreading themselves across the seat, and it feels so weird, like someone else is going to sit there and you're putting your shoes over there, right? And that is such a like Indian mentality, like it's just That you can remove that. You can remove that in post edit.
I mean, no, it's perfectly fine.
You guys, this is very simple, still normal stuff. You guys saw that video, that reel which became viral recently, that some Indian woman has gone to Thailand. She climbs on a statue of the Buddha, picks out like 2 mangoes from the tree behind him and gets down. And everyone's like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you like disgracing the country like this just for a couple of mangoes?
Oh, I have not seen that, dude. That sounds so weird.
Oh my God.
I saw something else recently which completely
blew me away. Dude.
What? It's a video in New Zealand, right? This Indian man, he walked into a swimming pool, a kid's swimming pool, like wearing like cargo trunks, and then he whips out a bar of soap from his pocket, and then he starts scrubbing there in the kids.
I've seen that.
Okay, first of all, like, how does one get into that mentality? Like, even here in India, you don't walk into a random pool and start scrubbing yourself, right? Even in like lakes and rivers, people don't usually do that. This guy, he probably thinks that over there the water's cleaner, the kids have like absorbed the dirt, so he can give himself a good scrub. And the thing is, I'm seeing some folks who were defending him. Like, they were, I don't know what they think. They were like, it's public property. This is like a fountain type. He's like, he has a right to do it. He's like, if he's a national of the area, he can do it. What logic is this? It's so.
Yeah, that is the worst thing that I see on Indian social media. Like, okay, I'm sure you guys know about Holi, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I ended up like, I don't know why it ended up in my Instagram reel like algorithm, but basically I was seeing people literally being harassed, like uncensoredly harassed, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, like a majority of the people were enjoying it, like getting their clothes torn off, getting naked and stuff like that. And people are laughing at that. They are like, it is so normalized in this country that people are fine with that. And the worst part was, there was this kid, right? A guy. See, harassment knows no genders, right? So there was this kid who was probably like 13, 14 years old. And they are tearing his clothes down, rubbing color on him, and they're showing explicit content. He is crying in front of them, like you can tell from his face, like when like your face is color like filled with color, and then when you cry you have those streaks of like tears, right? You can see that in a video of low quality, and they're still like laughing around, and then there are comments where like they're like they're also laughing around.
But so, it's holy. Yeah,
exactly. It's like, don't feel bad, it's holy.
Yeah,
exactly. And I find it the dumbest thing out there. Like, they have taken it to a level where it's at this point, the lack of civic sense in this country. Holi is the peak of that. Like, Holi is the, what do you call that? The definition of that, essentially.
I mean, Holi obviously is a huge cultural movement in India. I mean, it's a festival of colors. You name it, it's celebrated throughout the entire place. But people forget that. They just think it's a way to make messes, way to get away with stuff. I mean, like another instance that I saw this reel of this white lady who was visiting India, and her Indian friends were like, they invited her to play Holi, right? And so apparently, like, a lot of groping happened. So what she did was she took a camera like this, facing herself, and she just walked through the Holi crowd, right? And it was a full torso type shot. And what happened is, as she was walking, so many passers-by, like in the name of like rubbing, the powder on them, like they touched her literally everywhere. And it came on camera as well. So, and it's it's a big crowd, so like everyone's like, no one will see, no one will get this. But you can understand like what the mentality of the common folk is. Like when it comes to this, they just think they can get away with it.
Yep, I've seen multiple videos like that. I'm not sure, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. But the girl who was a Japanese girl who got harassed in a similar way.
I vaguely remember this.
It has been circulating on the social media for the last 3 or 4 years. But yeah, it's just stupid. Like, why do you want to do that? And the worst part is, there are people throwing each other in the gutter. Like, they'll just take the person and throw him in the sewage or sewer, whatever. Like, and then they're using cow dung to throw at each other, rotten eggs. Like,
But why do you think these kind of things happen here of all the places? I mean, why? Like, why do we lack civic sense?
Let me. It's not just civic sense. Okay, in my opinion, right? Out of all races, Indians for some reason have the least shame. And I mean, come on, dude. We've all seen the stories of like how Indian guys online like go into like girls' DMs, they type all sorts of stuff, and it's not like hi, hello. Okay, they literally go into the DMs, they demand nudes. How does someone get this level of confidence, dude?
I had a friend of mine. She was from Bosnia, right?
Okay.
She had a Bengali guy who kept on pestering her, right? He created 7 different Facebook accounts just to contact her repeatedly because she kept blocking them. And she even told him, like, he kept on proposing for a marriage. Like, I want to marry you. I want to do this. I want to do that. And she's like, I'm a lesbian. And then he's like, okay, bring your girlfriend. We'll do it together.
That just proves Neville's point of shamelessness.
Exactly, dude.
You know, I think more than shame, I think it's a lack of empathy, personally. And I'll tell you why. If you notice in India, when people come from outside, right, they are the first things that you hear. There are 2 things, right?
Outside meaning like non-Indians coming to India. They come into India.
For white people, essentially.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, white people. And not even black people, because black people just consider South Indians and shove them off. So I'm talking about specifically like the colonizers, essentially. So whenever they come here, the two things that they'll always talk about, one is vibrancy, second is hospitality.
Okay.
Right? My presumption is that we are very hospitable because we want the immediate, like it's the nice guy syndrome. It's like, you know how guys pretend to be nice so that they can like, you know, get laid or get with a girl and stuff like that. I think that like people in India are hospitable for that exact reason. They are not hospitable because...
Okay. That's an interesting take. It's an interesting take that makes sense. Yeah.
It's like if you talk to people and they're nice, they always expect something in return. Right? And with white people is that they know that like, you know, they have more money, like whether it's a perception or whether it's reality. Obviously there is a perception. It might not be that every white person is rich, but generally they are rich, right? So they usually do good things for them, thinking that, oh, hey, like, you know, he's rich, he'll give more money, he'll, you know, if we can establish a longer term contact, then like we can get more out of him, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, think about it, the whole brown nosing situation is exactly that. I will lick your ass and then I'll expect something in return, right? And I think that is the core foundation of why this country does not like progress, because I agree that like it's also lack of shame for sure, but I think a bigger problem is lack of empathy, because they cannot feel what the other person might feel when they say something. But that is why when the Indians are hospitable, it clearly comes off as a different type of vibe. Like, come here and like take this and we are showing you 10 different things, like just buy something from us. It's not providing them value, like what do you want? Right? And this also leads into the whole thing where the Indian mentality is a job mentality, right? And this is in the manifesto that I've created. Like, we should stop the job mentality and we should start the mentality of creating value. Like, what value can you create?
Right.
So yeah, all of these things are connected, I feel.
So I want to wind back all the way to the manifesto since you brought it back up. I want to ask you some questions, all right? What is the end goal? Like, what do you, like, let's say everything goes as per your plan. What is the final output? I mean, the final whatever, like once everything is done. Like, what's that, your opinion of what it should be?
So the thing is that I created that manifesto thinking, okay, India, if you look at the government, if you look at people, you look at how the government works, it's a reflection of the people. It's like, I'm sure you guys have heard this quote, India has a very Chalta hai mentality.
Yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right?
Adjust karo.
Chalta hai ki हाँ भाई वो मतलब टूटा. A friend of mine was talking about like not friend, a cousin. My cousin came yesterday, right? And he was talking about like he works in some company in Germany, and they were complaining about a door that was not working properly.
Okay.
Everything else is working perfectly, but that door is not working perfectly. And he was complaining that the project got delayed because everyone was hyper focused on that small thing.
Okay.
Right? And Indians would be like, okay, we'll just use the exit and we just get on with our day.
Right.
But that is also I feel that is the difference between the Indian mentality and like German, Japanese, whatever. They want to fix things. They don't want to leave things just like, okay, like chalta hai, like just let it be, we'll adjust, right? And I think that percolates throughout the entire society.
Right.
You look at our roads and you look at the myopic vision of our government. All of the solutions that our government creates are all band-aid solutions. None of them are like holistic, right? So that creating that manifesto was, so I'm not sure if you've heard of this, but Japanese people, they have a thing called like, I do not know the exact name of this term, but they say that pride and honor above everything else, right? And the one thing that Indians lack is honor. They have a lot of pride, but without any honor. Right. You know, I'm sure you must have seen people who go like, you know, we are like America and like, you know, we are becoming a superpower and stuff like that, right? We have that pride. We do not have any of the honor.
Oh, definitely. Right? I mean, India got memed so hard when Superpower 2020. Remember that? I don't know the story, but like some guys like we'll be a superpower by 2020, and then like nothing happened. We're still in the exact same boots from like it's. I mean, we get it.
No, we are in a worse off situation, dude.
I mean,
we are in a. The thing is that, and this is something I told Saga as well in our call. It was either Switzerland or Sweden, right? The whole thing about what was it, Saga? Can you like repeat it? Like
My memory is so bad.
okay, fine. So
You tell me, I'll remember it.
it's something like a country isn't rich when everyone owns cars, even the poor people,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
A country is rich when the rich people use public transport,
Yeah.
right? And you look at, and that again percolates into the whole thing. India has seen a drastic increase in the number of SUVs for no reason. It's like you'll see people who are like, they're driving a Hyundai Creta or I don't know, some SUV, Thar or whatever, and there's only one person sitting on it, in it. How does that make sense?
Oh man, you're preaching to the choir, dude. Like Bangalore traffic, bro. Like it's absolutely terrible, especially here on the ring
And
road.
I do not like putting my family under the bus, but my chachu or like my uncle recently bought a SUV, and I'm like, that was my literal reaction in front of my dad.
Oh man. I mean,
So,
I can
you know-
speak and go ahead, Saga. Go ahead.
I read your manifesto, okay, and it didn't feel intense or it just felt like this is common sense. This is like common sense for the common man or common people, you know. It felt like just the first step. We're not even going into economic arrangements, a different reformed form of democracy, self-governance, nothing. It's very basic, simple, common sense, put in maybe like a very intense form of a kind of a language, maybe. You know, you're expressing it very passionately, but it felt like basic common sense: women's safety, pride, honor, value, the mentality. It just felt like basic common sense that, you know, even like you go to a fourth standard kid or fifth standard kid and you talk to them, will be like, yeah, this I know, don't worry. You know, it felt really like that, expressed in a very, you know, intense kind of a language. But the fact is, even this basic, the bare minimum that the manifesto talks about, is complicated for us as a society to grasp. And that bugs me. And like I asked, you guys said empathy, shame, etc. But my question actually is, why do we even lack empathy or shame, which are like basic emotions? I'm not saying everyone does, but usually you see when in a mob, kind of a mob rule or whatever is happening right now, we do not have that. I'm sure that it's like politicized and there are antisocial elements and things like that. But what is this cultural thing, or what kind of rituals is it that we have as a society that's giving rise to this kind of attitude or this kind of mentality?
Yeah, Trupito, where did all the empathy go?
Yeah,
I think there are two
like-
reasons for this. There are two
Okay.
core reasons for this. One is that most of this country is still in survival mode. 90% of this country, if you think about it, right? Excluding, if you exclude, let's say, the major cities, your GDP goes down by a considerable amount.
Definitely.
Right? And farmers are dying. Farmers are suiciding. I don't know if suiciding is a word, but like farmers are committing suicide,
committing
right?
suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it clearly shows a problem that the country is in survival mode. Just because like a bunch of people, like let's say, 1% of the population is thriving, does not. So think about, so when people are in survival mode, there's a lot of resentment. When you consider that 90% of a country is in survival mode, you realize how much resentment is compounded on like imagine 1.2 billion people. Let's assume like 200 million people are like thriving, sane, whatever, like that's the higher end of the assumption, right? That is still 1.2 billion people's resentment compounded on top of each other. Right? One is that. The second is the slavery mentality. The slavery mentality is what has given rise to celebrity culture, blind following. I mean, think about it. We are making people like Elvish Yadav, people like, I don't know these dumb people who get massive amounts of fame for no reason. Right? So this whole thing where, even if it's stupid, I'm getting famous, so it doesn't matter. Right? So the country living in survival mode and the like slavery, like that was like created. And I do not blame Indians, because we have been under, like first it was the Mughals, right, who colonized us, and then it was the Britishers. So I'm not saying that I don't blame the Indians for what they did. I do blame people for what they're doing today.
Okay.
Because all the all the people that you watch, like they're like Deshbhakts, Andhbhakts, whatever you want to call them. Like let's say they're patriotic people, right? You start doing yoga after white people start doing yoga. You start eating healthy when you have a healthy you start consuming palm oil when you have ghee. You start consuming, so you choose convenience over honor, and that becomes a huge problem.
Yeah. I mean, the pretty well said, truth be told, the way I explained it, especially the bit on the survival mentality. Like, I was just imagining it in my head, right? See, when people are in survival mode, it becomes like, I need to get what I require, no matter what happens. So because of that, it's like my needs over your needs, and that takes away the sense of empathy, as you described, it describes a lot of the crowd mentality here incredibly. I think you hit the nail on that with the statement and how you explained it.
I feel like, this empathy and, all this kind of a mentality, I feel we can't just limit it to like the economic condition right now. I feel there's something a little more than just survival. I mean, we've also seen instances where people are in a survival kind of a situation but still work together, to reach the end goal. I feel there is something else, when we can't really like pinpoint it or bring it down to like a particular reason, definitely. But okay, even if we can't, what can we do as what kind of practical steps can we take according to your manifesto? Is it education, or is it like what can we do for practical steps that maybe the next generation doesn't turn out like this?
So I'll start with the point that you mentioned earlier about how like you saw like a small group of people like collectively working together and like achieving a goal. First I'll address that. I think the main thing is that, okay, I'm not a godly person, right? But I do believe that having honor, being principled, takes a lot more effort than being not principled.
Definitely.
And when you compound that with 1.4 billion people, right? Because see, even the most people who have the highest, tolerance for virtue, not tolerance, but like tolerance for like negative things, right? They'll try to be on the path of virtue, right? Even at some point, even they break, right? So and this is, so that's what I keep telling people, that if, let's say America, right? If there is one nice person, if there are 10 dumb people for every one nice person, and I don't mean dumb as in not smart or anything, I just mean like non-ethical, or they don't follow virtues, right? If for every 10 people there's one nice person, in India for every 1,000 people there's one nice person, right? Yeah. And every human has a limit. Every human has a limit. You can't expect someone to be on top of virtues. See, I talked about plastic. Like one of the things you saw in my manifesto is reduce the use of plastic, right? But we can't help it. Some of the things we can't just like having a mobile phone, having computer gadgets, having like a lot of stuff requires plastic, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
but what we can avoid is not getting vegetables in plastic bags. Right? What we can avoid is, instead of having and this is something that I learned from a video about Japan. A guy was showing that some person was cooling food in a drainage in Japan. Like they had taken the kettle cover. So they were cooling food like something. They were cooling. They had taken a utensil, right? And they were cooling it in a drain, like in a drain that went along the side of the street, right?
Okay.
Can you imagine doing that in India? So that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to get India to that level of like that is the aim with this manifesto. Like, imagine that's what he was saying. Like, you have holy rivers in India that are in worse condition than countries that don't even have holy rivers.
Exactly. Yeah.
You guys saw that video where the MLA or the minister drinks water from the Ganga and he's like, yeah, this is very pure.
And then he almost died.
And next day he falls ill. He almost died, dude. I was like, why? You could have at least faked it with some fake water or something and just like, I don't know. He could have done so much. He put his life at risk.
I saw that clip, right? Like when he took the glass, or he held it up in the air, right? the water wasn't even clear. It's not like it was like slightly gray or slightly yellow. It was muddy, and he still drank the entire glass or whatever. Like, I. It's not just a health hazard. That's literally a hazard of death that can kill you.
I mean, think about it. The river is so polluted that people who come in contact with it are likely to fall ill. That's how dirty it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys saw the reports, but apparently, whatever, like there was some fecal form, like there's some what unit for like the amount of fecal form per unit of water, right? I think it was 7 to 10 times more than the higher limit.
Oh, that's nasty, dude.
Yeah,
that is
no
horrible.
shit. I mean, for Mahakumbh, they're going and shitting all over there, and those next to them only they're having a bathing, and they're like, "Oh, we are pure," and they came out, right?
The worst part was that they're like changing rooms where like you take a dive and then you go back, you change. There were people who were urinating in that while the bathroom was barely 100 meters away from there.
Yeah.
That is like terrible. I remember seeing the video, like the vision of like having our country be over there. It is a dream that I so hope it could happen, but it's like it feels like it's really far away. I've seen like this video in Japan where they're just random canals on the street, right? And there are koi in those canals. And these are like not small koi.
What's in the canal?
Fish. It's a type of fish called koi, right? Probably around this long, length of my forearm, bright colors, peak of health, just randomly swimming next to the road. That it doesn't feel like that's possible on the planet, especially considering we live here. It feels like a different planet. It's like some multiverse nonsense, dude.
I mean, think about it, dude. You remember that demolition of a building that happened in Gurgaon a few years ago? They had made it a big deal in the media.
Was it with the bulldozer?
No. It was using C4. Like they were demolishing it.
Plastic explosives.
Oh no.
Huh?
They used C4 plastic explosive to demolish a building.
I'm not sure if it was plastic, but I know that it was bombs essentially.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
But anyway, so they used bombs and they like cleared out people from like whatever, like a certain radius of like like let's say the building is let's say on 1 kilometer square of area. They had cleared everyone in like 2-3 kilometers square of area. I saw a Japanese demolition, right? That team didn't even need to clear anyone. There was no sound, nothing. The building felt like it was melting down. It was just coming one floor at a time, duk, and gone. No sound, no disturbance, no explosives. I don't know how much explosives they used, but they didn't use a lot of explosives. Not a lot of air pollution, nothing. Dude, that is peak human intelligence at that point.
See,
and it was.
Yeah, sorry. Carry on. Yeah.
The only thing I was going to add was it was not like some 2-3 storied building. It was easily a 20 to 30 story building.
Right.
And that was coming down like a Tetris thing. It was coming like a Tetris structure. It was coming down, duk, and done.
So, see, the truth be told, it's not even peak human intelligence. That's actually average intelligence. See, the way this works is, the way it works is, okay, like in a building, especially modern buildings, tall ones, right? You have these things called load bearing columns. Once you knock those out, the building will actually fall flat. Now, however things are done over there, I'm sure, like the way the building was constructed, everything was done as per the mandate, right? No mistakes, nothing's done right. All they had to do is put the right amount of explosive at the right places and the building will fall down properly. But the reason why that didn't happen over here, as you said, Chalta hai like mindset. They would have done Chalta hai to build the building. They would have done Chalta hai to knock it down, right? In their point, just don't want anyone to die. So just get everyone like a 5 kilometer radius away and then just like stick whatever explosives everywhere, knock it over, and it makes a huge mess. It's a mentality issue.
And the worst part about the mentality issue is that if you point these things out, they'll be like, there are two responses. That is by default. But otherwise, they'll be like, go and live in Japan. I'm like, dude, if I had the choice, I'll go. If I had the money, if I had the choice, I'll go. And it's like we don't want to evolve. We don't want to get better. That mentality of we don't want to be better is the worst thing that you can do. Because and this might be a little cheesy, but I've learned all these things from anime. Ironically, like it's like there's a quote. I don't know if you guys are ever going to watch this anime called Haikyuu, right? It's a volleyball anime, and there's this one line that is so beautiful, right? It says, I'm like, my enemies would adjust to me, and I'll have to adjust to my enemies, and whoever stops adjusting is the one who will lose.
Yeah,
Right? So
lovely
that is like
statement.
right?
Yeah.
That is the core of evolution. We keep improving, we keep improving. That mentality is not there in India at all.
Yeah, the only extent that I can imagine that in India is we compare ourselves so much to the Chinese and the Pakistanis. Like if China is doing it, India's like we can do it better, and if Pakistan's doing it, India's like oh, we're already doing it better. The only comparison that I actually see with Indians we're trying to get because
And the
yeah go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I forgot what I was gonna say. ADHD. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Carry on.
I'm sorry. But I was just going to say that, like, you know the whole AI war that's going on between the countries.
Yeah.
So China created DeepSeek or something. I think DeepSeek, right?
DeepSeek, yeah.
Yeah. And India is like, we'll create our own AI. They're just shouting, we'll create. What happened once OpenAI happened? Okay, they went on for a few months, and then China just one day randomly came out of the blue and be like, hey, we've made an AI, right? Meanwhile, India, what they're doing, we are shouting, we'll also make an AI. We'll also make it as advanced. And apparently, we don't even have the hardware to pull it off, let alone like have the technical skills. And the ironic part is like, OpenAI tech team is led by an Indian.
I mean, if it's tech, there's going to be at least like 2 or 3 Indians randomly here or there. Like there's so many of us, and so many of us are like getting into tech, right? So we're just spreading everywhere. But I got to give the Chinese credit, like irrespective of what your opinion on is with them as a nation, they're surprisingly efficient. They get things done really cheaply. And they get it done pretty fast. I mean, we saw what the budget for like GPT, etc. is, and then like one day out of the blue, with apparently 1/4 of the budget, they just produced DeepSeek, and they're like, it's open source, right? Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. Like if let's say okay, leave India. Most people, if you could create an LLM which is on par with GPT. With that kind of a budget, you're not making it open source. You're going to charge like crazy. You'll charge comparatively with GPT to make your own income like as high as possible. So, I mean, hats off to them with that.
Can you say what is open source? I'm not really.
You don't need to pay for it. Like I'll speak in simple terms. You don't need to pay for it. It's out there. All you have to do is like research it, and all the media to work with it is available to you. Like you don't need to license it, etc. Make sense?
But ChatGPT you're paying, right?
Oh, you don't have the code for it. Get it? Like it's not like I can take the code from ChatGPT and do whatever I want.
Wait. I'll try to explain to him in media terms. Essentially, you know how you have stock footage of 2 types. One you can license, one you can't. One you have to buy.
Yeah, commercially available. Yeah.
Commercially available, right? So in ChatGPT, you have like, so again, you can't buy it, but they have closed it off. Like the source files, they have closed it off. Right? But DeepSeek, it has a more open, like you can search the base code, like you can just take it and like modify it how you want. Open source just means that you can use it however you want. You can even modify it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Right.
So normal people who like use it can change how DeepSeek works.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because they made that such a powerful LLM open source, right? Almost anyone with a small amount of funds can get the base code and implement it into their own franchise, etc., and have their own working AI to some capacity. Like that's how game changing it was when DeepSeek came out.
Oh.
I wanted to carry on. I was going to go off topic, but carry on.
No, I just thought open source meant like I don't know, it was free, completely free or something, and that was the big deal. ChatGPT is also free, like for a while, but now the way you guys are saying it, it's like it's fully democratized the AI
essentially
in a way, right? Yeah, crazy.
I had this anecdote. Not anecdote, but just a random thought. Right? You know how Pratyush was mentioning like lack of empathy, etc. Another thing which I want to specify or point out. Everyone's heard of how people say that India is the most culturally diverse place on the planet, right? I mean, like from where I'm sitting, I can go 300 kilometers in like east, right? They're speaking one language. 300 kilometers west, they speak another language. 300 kilometers north, like it is diverse. I mean, like even the city I live in, it's crazy. Everyone's like, oh, it's great, diversity is good, you name it, and I mean, do with that what you will, but the problem which I'm seeing is because there are so many people of so many communities, all communities are competing now. Everyone's like, we are better than you, we deserve this over you, and that just creates more tension amongst people. If you like, see, as we described, like this tension person to person, right? But if you go one level higher, these people who fight will actually come together because they need to work with their community. It truly is a horde mindset. I mean, I'm not going. I don't need to go into the semantics of it or the details, but everyone's competing with everyone in ways which it's not human. And as you mentioned, because no one has honor, dishonorable things happen. Like, as you know, there's a water issue in the south between two neighboring states, right? The
Tamil Nadu
river.
and Karnataka.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to mention.
Everyone knows about it. I might as well say.
Fine. Okay, fine. So between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So the Kaveri River, if I remember correctly, originates in Karnataka and flows from Tamil Nadu, right? So we've dammed it off to restrict the water in Tamil Nadu. Now, what can the Tamilians do other than ask for water, right? But despite that, when those tensions were going high, I was like, buses with TN, they were getting like pulled over, they were getting burnt. Vehicles with like TN up were getting burnt. Like, it's water, for God's sakes. I know it's like it's, but if you boil it down, right, it's my interests versus their interests. Considering like how much water is there, especially in the northern. I mean, we have a river deltas which span entire states, but despite that, there's a water crisis here, and then like Bangalore, which is one of the, I would say it's one of the more what's the word? Developed? Is that the right word? Okay, despite Bangalore being one of the more architecture developed, whatever, it's being developed so and so. We are facing metropolitan. That's the word. We're facing a water crisis, and it is estimated that within 5 to 10 years we're going to lose our water table itself. Now, with how populous Bangalore is, can you imagine what's going to happen?
Bangalore is the worst planned city in like any way. Every major building over there is built where before a lake used to be there. It's built on a depression. The entire Majestic bus stand used to be a lake before. They just removed the lake, made a bus stand there. Okay, so now every time water comes, it rains, okay, it's waterlogged.
Yeah.
And there were more than 500 man-made lakes back when there were, the kings, etc. They're barely like 50 now. And even the ones that are there, if you go to like the Bellandur Lake or anywhere, it's just filled with that dirty white foam, which is like... Yeah, dude, it is really bad.
That white foam is sewage runoff.
Oh boy.
It's sewage runoff. Because,
that reminds me
the entire surrounding
of
area, all the surrounding area is residential, right? Because of the poor management of the canals, that's all sewage runoff.
Lake. Yeah, Agara Lake, you go to like which is that famous one? Other than Bellandur, the one near your house, Alsur Lake. Yeah. Oh my God, all the lakes are destroyed. And recently, not recently, a few years ago, I was speaking to activist who works with the deltas, basins of rivers, etc. I was asking her, hey, like, why? Why is it that we don't really have this kind of a connection with lakes anymore, etc.? She's like, I don't know about all these big things, but I'll give you one practical example. Before, the lakes had some utility value, right? We'd actually use the water of the lakes for our purpose, whatever purpose we had, irrigation, etc., whatever, right? Now, it's only aesthetic purpose. Lake is just like a place you go to chill, you spit chewing gum, you smoke, you spit pan, etc., and you come back. Or it's like a make-out spot, right? That's all it has become. You do not have any connection with a lake or a water source whatsoever. You're just getting water in your tap. You don't know where it's coming from. Okay, you do not know. Right next to your house there might be a slum which is like carrying water from like 5 kilometers in like they put a coin and like 25 liters of water comes, I don't know if you'll have that there.
No, there's one close to my house. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Luckily, you have one close to your house. I don't know if in North India, these guys even have... You all have it?
I have never seen it personally. Water shortage over here only happens like in societies. At least I live in a very urban area. So like we bring like huge tankers of water to just fill up whatever like reserves we have. But yeah, like this is a big problem because, and this is again, I'll bring the Japanese over here because they just do it better. They realized in I don't remember which century, it was a while ago. they basically realized that they didn't have enough trees to create wood for their houses, right? They started carving the trees in a unique manner where they'll take out the outer bark, leave the inner bark, and let the tree grow, right? And that created an infinite source of wood for them. So that, because then the tree doesn't need to grow from like zero, right? And then you just shave out the outer bark, and then it grows again. You shave it out again. There's a term for it, but that's what they did.
It's for those
right?
paper walls they have, right?
I don't think it's for paper. I think it's like normal, like
No,
you know,
I mean they make the walls or in those old style
walls
Japanese
are
houses with
comparatively
paper,
thicker.
right?
Yeah, thinner.
I'm not sure if it okay. I'm not sure about the use. I just know that they use that technique to create houses in Japan, right? And something similar I saw, and you know, this is the most ironic part. Like this, the rest of India, like if you exclude like the Seven Sisters, essentially the places where the come from, right? Like I hate that term. I hate that term so much. And the most ironic part is those people are some of the smartest and some of the most brilliant people. Like we have like our football stars come from there. Baichung Bhutia, your Sunil Chhetri, your best players have come from there. And there's this tree in Meghalaya, right, which is a tree bridge where what the people have done, instead of cutting down the trees, they have whatever techniques they've used, I'm not sure what they have done, but they basically guided the trees in such a way where the tree itself has made a bridge between two places. So all your branches actually like whatever they have done, but they have basically coexisted. They have basically done engineering with nature.
Right. Like those bridges are made of living trees and vines. It's like they grow the tree to serve just that purpose. Yeah, I've heard of that.
And the best part is that bridge will never break. It'll only become stronger with age.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Unlike so many bridges that are made of, again, I'm not saying it's practical, like, okay, we can ride cars on top of it, but we could have done something similar with Bangalore. And this is where Sagar's point comes in, right? You were talking about how Bangalore is like a very badly planned city. It's not just Bangalore, it's Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, all your big cities are so pathetically, planned. It's like, there's this place in Pune called Hinjawadi. It used to be a green place where like there was not like a lot of buzz and stuff like that. But the moment IT companies came in, now it has become a dust land. You go in and you feel the worst of Pune's pollution. That's how
Pune
it is.
was so beautiful. Okay, you just entered Pune through a bus early morning, and everywhere there's just green hills, small hillocks, not even hills. Okay, it's surrounded like that, small green like hillocks, and you're just going through. Okay, I think I got to go to Pune like 4 times max now. Okay, morning you'll have this poha and chai. Okay, outside in these thelas, it's like nice mist, very cool weather, very very nice. The people are also very chill, not like Mumbai, just not all that chaos and stuff. Very chill area. And now like they got IT there, etc. Now they're planning to make Goa also the Silicon Valley. For no reason whatsoever. Okay, and the same thing is going to happen to Goa, and the Goan people are completely unaware. They've sold off all their properties during COVID. Okay, lazy as fuck, and now they're complaining that all the Delhi people have come and taken our land. I'm like, you guys sold the land. Okay, you all could have sold it to Goans. Okay, but for a few little extra childra castes, okay, you all gave it to like Delhi people and the affluent communities, and now you guys basically gave away your identity for a little extra buck on the side.
Exactly.
That's all. Yeah. And now you can't complain, dude. Now you can't complain. You fucked up. That's all. Now your children don't get to live in the same Goa that you had. Now you can't complain. Now you either like earn some money and take it back from them. Do something. I don't care. Don't complain. That's all.
No, that is true. And this is the problem with Indians. Like we put money above pride and honor when it should be the opposite.
Yeah, I swear.
It's
and
like
what really bugs me about the Goan thing is that most of the Goans are rationalizing this kind of laissez-faire kind of attitude that they have, this laziness. They rationalize it with this Portuguese term called sossegado, right?
What?
And there's a Portuguese term for carefree called sossegado, SUSEGAD, sossegado. Okay, but you say it as sossegado, right? And they rationalize it as, we are carefree, we are Goans, we have carefree, we are sossegado. But actually, it's just rationalization, right? You're not really Susagat, dude. If you were Susagat, life wouldn't be like this. We were Susagat back when the counterculture was there, hippies were there, etc. You're not Susagat anymore. You come out of the like suburban areas, you're back in a place like Bangalore. It's exactly the same. There's it's not Goa or anything anymore. It's just like, oh, am I in Delhi or am I in Bangalore? Flyovers, dust, construction, etc. No, it's so sad, dude. It's really sad.
And see, that's the thing, right? Like, so when we put pride and honor below money, or like rather when we put money above pride and honor, right? It creates a window for where capitalistic people can exploit them. Right? And that is what has happened. You look at Bollywood, you look at Instagram, you look at they have created a consumer centric culture so much that it is becoming ingrained in the society. It's like so. And this is the most ironic part, that you see all these Instagram reels, right? I have seen some people defend it as it's not this didn't happen. They just did it for the Instagram reel. They just like did it for content. So are you telling me that you need brain dead content to get attention in this country? Right? And so it has created such a vicious cycle of blind consumerism. I mean, you look at any field, you look at any of the art forms, Bollywood, Salman Khan movies. I have zero idea why Salman Khan movies run till today. Please, someone give me one reason why they run today, except for like, yeah. You look at music. I mean, he's not even a good actor. I'm telling you, Bollywood peaked in 2007 with Taare Zameen Par. After that, there's nothing in Bollywood that has come even close in terms of subject material.
Sagar and I were having a conversation similar to this, right? And I told him I only like 2 Bollywood movies. One was 3 Idiots and one was Taare Zameen Par. So yeah, so I'm in line with you on this. I mean, so Bollywood movies, right? Like especially action Bollywood movies, they are brain rot before brain rot was a term, dude. They are so ridiculous. I mean, there was one movie which it's a Salman Khan movie. Now, it's apparent. I mean, like this movie isn't so bad from what I heard. I believe it's not that bad. Like at least for my standards, not that bad. I think it's a movie where he plays a wrestler. Like I'm thinking one of you guys can yeah. So
Sultan.
So whatever.
Yeah.
So I randomly some clips of it were in my feed. So I watched it, and the scene was someone a talent scout for like some wrestling came to his village to try to see if he's worth it, and they're like, oh, this guy's fat, he can't do anything. And then the next scene is this guy's picking up a tractor that got stuck in a ditch. I mean, of all the ways to show this guy has something, at least keep it somewhat grounded, you know? It's like even Marvel movies don't get this ridiculous sometimes.
Hey, at least Marvel has sci-fi to fall back on. Like it's all sci-fi, so like they're doing whatever they want, right? but no, and this is something that I've noticed. India doesn't appreciate its own culture. For all the Desh Bhakti, all the culture that we claim to like Indian culture is great, we don't like our own culture. Think about it like this. Yoga came into India after white people started doing it. If you have you guys heard about that movie called Gangs of Wasepur?
Nope.
Yeah.
That was not allowed to be released in India. That went to some foreign film festival. It was an 8-hour long movie. People watched it, they gave it a standing ovation, and then they realized, oh, this is actually a good movie, and then it came back to India. And you look at, there's a reason we have brain drain. I'm sure you guys are aware of that term, right? Brain drain. Because we don't appreciate our own talent.
Okay.
We have zero appreciation for any talent. I mean, think about it. Why do you think that so many Indians, Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, I'm not saying they're exceptional people. Right? They might be. I'm not saying that they are. I'm saying they might be. But the thing is that so if they are the CEO of Google, CEO of Microsoft, if there's a reason for that. They have some capability, something they have, right? Why aren't they doing the same thing in India? Because it's not like money is not a problem in India. Because if you compare the purchasing power parity, they can earn, let's say if you're earning 1 crore in the US, you can have a similar position with 60-70 lakhs over here, right? And because India fails to inculcate that all these things like religion, culture, whatever, all these appreciations that we pretend to have, it's all pretense. There's no actual substance behind it, right? Because if you look at Hinduism, how many people do you think follow Ayurveda in this country? How many like people like go and like read the Hindu texts and come back? Like I feel like I follow Ayurveda more than people who call themselves Hindu.
I mean, I have no idea. I don't follow it at all. But like, if I was to give an estimate, I would say maybe 5%. You think that's fair?
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Really?
Trust me.
In this call, I think 2 of us out of 3. Because both my parents are Ayurvedic doctors, so
Okay,
I had no choice. Yeah.
All right.
But no, so instead of I'm not saying Ayurveda is the pinnacle of medicine or whatever, right? But the problem is that we stopped developing it 3,000, 4,000 years ago, right?
Exactly. Medicine always continues. Any science continues, right? You develop on it. But still, even today, in the Ayurvedic hospitals and colleges, they are reading a book that was written like a few thousand years ago, Charaka Samhita and Susruta and all these people. I'm like, wait a second. Since those few thousand years ago, are you saying that Ayurveda has not developed? Are you saying that we're still saying that what came back then was science and science doesn't grow? You don't discover more. You don't invent more. What is that thing? That was so stupid, dude. I found it really stupid.
And trust me, that is not just with Ayurveda. That is with everything in this country. My uncle, he went to an alumni meet in his college, in his engineering college, and he finished his engineering in 1967 plus 21, would be 1990 approximately, right? So he went there in 1990 because all their other alumni meets have happened in other locations, and this time it was I think the 25th or 35th something, right? And so they were celebrating the whatever jubilee in the college itself. That uncle said that in 25 years the equipment hasn't changed at all. Like the practical equipments that we use for practical experiments and stuff. He went there and even 25 35 years later, he's like, this place hasn't changed. Yeah, like they might have better infrastructure, whatever, buildings look more aesthetic and stuff, but the things that matter, they haven't changed.
Yeah.
So
I think that leads back to the
sad.
Chalta hai attitude.
Really sad.
huh?
I think that leads back to the
Chalta
Chalta
hai.
hai attitude. I mean, if it works, why replace it? It's kind of like the saying,
Purana mano.
if it's broke, don't fix it. But it's like a lot worse than that.
Dude, do you think we were prepared for COVID? Like our country, or I mean, nobody was prepared for COVID, but I was in Goa and like I felt like Goans suffered a lot from COVID, dude, because it was a tourist destination. People didn't care. Okay, people just kept pouring in, and Goa was not ready, dude. Goa doesn't have ambulances. It doesn't have enough hospitals. Okay, literally during COVID, okay, the casinos in Goa were paying the cops and the government, etc., hafta to keep it open in crores of hafta. Okay, whereas the small businesses, okay, which normal people, okay, require on a daily basis, couldn't pay hafta and couldn't keep it open, right? And literally there were not enough hospital beds in Goa, right? So people as a community came together and they're like, you know what, we have another room in the house, we'll make this a quarantine area. Basement, okay, house basement, house terrace, etc., etc. People went out of their way, went to their connections, NRI connections, etc., etc., okay, UK connections and things like that. They arranged oxygen cylinders, right? And then after all this happened, okay, this part is only for you guys, so I will have to cut this part off. I took a proposal and went, okay, that's saying that we need more ambulances. We waited for 2 months to get that appointment. Okay, almost with me and my mom, we went there with the proposal and saying that we need at least 5 more ambulances in Goa because reportedly 3,000 deaths have happened on the road last year because of road accidents, etc., and help not reaching on time. We waited 2 hours outside the office, and this guy has five assistants. Okay, all of them chicks. and all of them have like three iPhones. Okay, and all of them have businesses like pharmacy chains and things like that. But we all know it is run by this only. He's just put it in their name because why will a PA own a pharmacy chain, dude? Right?
So we waited for 2 hours. I gave him the proposal. He's saying, no, we have everything. Well, I told him, sir, ambulance. He's like, we have. Sir, healthcare facility. No, we have. I wanted to ask him, sir, if everything is there, are you just here for damage control? Are you saying that we don't need anything? I couldn't say all those things. But at the end of it, he's giving me this impression that he doesn't know what an ambulance is. Okay. Because for him, it's like an ambulance is like a taxi, right? Just for transporting patients. But an ambulance is so much more, dude.
Yeah.
An ambulance, you're supposed to provide paramedic, support and keep the patient stable until they reach the hospital so that the doctors can take over from there, right? So these ambulances cost like around 25 lakhs. They're called cardiac ambulances. They've got the defibrillator and all that, and they've got a stationed paramedic inside, etc. But nowadays they just get like an Omni car, that old Omni.
Yeah. I see them on the ring road every day.
Yeah, and they call that an ambulance, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? How is that an ambulance? You cannot consider that an ambulance at all. Give it a different name if you need to. That's not an ambulance. And based on that, they're saying, no, Goa is ambulances. No, we don't. Dude, literally, that we were going with her, and she looked at her ambulance and is like, this is like a van. Okay, we have real ambulances in Dubai. If they see that, they will like lose it. Right? And I was like, if the is not even aware, is not ready to accept that basic infrastructure doesn't exist, what can the citizens do even if they try? Right? How we literally will have to go out of our way, wait for something chaotic like COVID to happen and things to become really dire, and then come up as like some jugaad we'll have to do like this. Okay, you sleep in the basement, you sleep there. We don't have hospital beds, we don't have oxygen. We'll have to do the things on our own, and we're still not prepared for COVID either. It's not like if another wave of any pandemic hits, we're still not prepared. And every day on the news, all we can hear is about this Hindu-Muslim fight or some speech or popcorn's GST or some shit, dude.
Hey, if another pandemic happens, I'm sure there'll be another round of people banging their utensils. So
yeah, definitely. I remember when that happened.
What was that?
I remember when that happened, right? I was so I said that story to a friend of mine who's in Singapore, right? Like not Indian, like completely never been to India, right? And as I was explaining the situation to this friend, right, that this was, this is like us, the government, trying to show appreciation to doctors. Each word I said, I just started feeling more and more embarrassed. I'm like, of all the ways to do this, really banging the pots and pans. Imagine you're a doctor, okay, you're overworked, okay, like 18-hour shifts. You come home, you've died. I mean, you're dying, right? Like you're bleeding from your wearing that mask all day. Your feet are swollen, okay, and then suddenly you start hearing pans banging, dude. Like, what does that do for you? Yes, appreciation. like really, is that the appreciation people need? That doctors require?
Some people were saying that the sound waves will make the virus go away.
I swear, and I feel you can't depend on the government anymore. Like that example of how communities came together to just help ourselves. I think we have to resort to that shit again, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
see, the thing is that when your average IQ of the country is 75, what do you expect from the politics? Yeah.
Really?
We'll research and post. We'll put the actual number up.
Yeah, you can go. The ironic part is 10 years ago, India's average IQ was 82 and we have fallen 7 points.
Oh my god. I thought like 75, 80 is like for chimpanzees and stuff.
Chimps are closer to 2030.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We are. I think we are like our IQ is somewhere between like African nations because ironically Pakistan's IQ.
We're actually higher.
No, we are not that much high. In fact, ironically, Pakistan is higher than us.
I remember I saw like this heat map of like the world IQs, right? If I remember correctly, India scored somewhere between 80 to 100. But then I looked to like the West and I saw Africa and then everything was like red and I'm like, okay, I felt bad for those guys when I saw it.
But yeah, think about it. I mean, they take a sample. They probably biased, but then you look at the people over here.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm like, we had people like Abdul Kalam being what do you call, elected as politicians, right? Now I'm not sure how the political system works, but like a president like him being elected today is a big deal, dude. It's a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
big deal, considering that most politicians today aren't even educated in basic civil stuff, right? Let alone like advanced physics, like sending missiles and stuff like that, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they said that like the average IQ of India is 75, because you look at the people, look at the Kunal Kamra situation, right? People are getting violent for comedy. It's like in India, jokes are the crime and crimes are the joke.
Yeah. It's like in the previous episode when we spoke about that guy who ran over those scooters, right? He came out like one more round. Like he was just so happy he did that. Remember?
Oh yeah, the Gujarati guy.
Yeah. I mean, we have another episode
Yeah.
on the pipeline where we discuss
Oh,
that with
we
someone.
just know him as a Gujarati guy now, is it?
And the best part was when he, like, after he was done with that whole one more time, he was like, he saw people coming to beat him. He's like, Om Namah Shivaya, as if like Jai Shri Ram, he'll say Jai Shri Ram and like he'll escape. Like, I'm not surprised at the average IQ being 75. Like, I look at the people and their people are so short-sighted in this country. It's just insane. Like, they can't think 5 steps ahead of them at all. So
You know, like I used to go to this festival in film festival called IFFI. It happens in Goa every year. Again, we'll have to cut the name part off. But the was sitting on the stage, and he said something, and everyone started clapping. I was shocked. He said, "We will give funding for movies. Okay, all you have to do is say good things about the place, etc., etc." And everyone started clapping. And he said, and I'm sure that is not so difficult to inculcate these kind of elements into your script and story. I was like, did he indirectly say that he's going to fund propaganda films?
Yeah, that's exactly
Okay.
what he did. Exactly what he did.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
exactly what he said. Because dude, basic, if he's the okay, he also knows, anyone knows that the core of any story is conflict. You need to have good, you need to have bad. Okay, you cannot just that contrast is essential, right? There's conflict and there's catharsis at the end. So what bad are you going to show, dude? So you are going to decide what good I should show. So you're also going to decide who the villain should be, or who the antagonist there should be, right? Which is in your case, whatever serves your agenda, right? Like, and so many propaganda movies coming out in India today. Okay, it is sad, and this is basically literature, right?
Yeah.
If you actually see, this is literature. So what literature we are consuming is what our output is going to be as well.
Yeah.
Dude, you saw that recent trailer of that movie Kesari Veer.
Not me, dude. Sorry.
Okay, you saw Kerala Story.
No.
I saw Kashmir Stories, I think.
You Kashmir Files you saw.
Yeah, Kashmir Files. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Okay,
Yeah.
Padmavat.
A little bit. I don't watch Bollywood. It's
Okay.
Now you know why he and I are friends.
No, I watch all, but like, yeah, it's sad, man. It's really sad. It's outright. It's not even subtle. It's not even brilliant filmmaking. That okay, I'll be like, okay, I'll leave the propaganda. I'll watch it because it's a great film. No, it is like directly, just like me directly telling you that, hey, yeah, this community is bad. They screwed us over. The women and they kidnap the children, etc., etc. So we need to hate them. It's saying it directly. And there's no craft of filmmaking or anything like that at all involved. And this is all and that's the only option we have for watching. We either have that, or we have a Brainrot film like some Salman Khan flick or some shit like that to watch.
And this is the so I have never thought that Indian filmmaking has been great, right? Like, I mean, I have some favorites like Taare Zameen Par. There's a movie called Peranbu, if you've heard. It's a South Indian Tamil movie.
Spelling?
Peranbu, I think. It's a Tamil,
Okay.
right? And there are a bunch of others. I'm not saying there aren't good ones, but they are so far and few in between compared to what the West releases or what Japanese people release. It's like you can pick out what good movies there are on one thing, like one hand of yours, right?
Yeah.
And the worst part is there were visionaries back then in the 1970s and 80s. I'm sure you guys have heard of this guy called Satyajit Ray, right?
Of course.
I never thought, like, gave him much thought because I didn't know about him, right? And then I heard, like, watched a video of his, watched a bunch of movies, and then I'm like, dude, if we had made this guy popular, we would be much more better off as a country than we are today. That guy was doing feminism in the 1960s and 70s, dude. He has made a lot of movies where, like, they have taken the female issues, they have presented it, like, they have taken the lack of freedom that women had, and he has presented them in an empathetic way, in a more like, okay, this is a struggle. Like, he's not glamorizing it, he's making it like it is a problem. He's not saying that, okay, we should just rebel and do everything. He's saying that it's a problem. You can't just put people in a cage. They're not monkeys, and you don't even put monkeys in a cage. You don't put even animals in a cage, right? So he in 1989, or I don't remember which year this was, but he did an interview where he openly stated that Indian audience is uneducated and backwards, which is so true. So true. And people think that entertainment is something where you just dump your brain in a void and just go and watch without a brain, which is not true. Entertainment, art was always supposed to be a stimulant. It was supposed to make you think. It was supposed to make you question, right? Here people are validated in their negative beliefs.
But the thing is, that itself is stupid, in a way. Then it's just the producers and production houses saying, entertainment hai to chalega. But the whole point, the first prerequisite for any entertainment is you have to first be immersed, right? And to be immersed, you need to feel something. That only is that is only not there. Whether it makes us think or doesn't make us think, whether all that doesn't really matter. I mean, I've seen so many like Hollywood movies also. What is that? Scott versus the World.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Huh?
It's called Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
I enjoyed it. It's not trying to say that, I need to be next level, a better person, or Monty Python and Holy Grail, or any of these kind of movies, okay? I mean, Monty Python is like great satire, but entertainment, when we say just disqualify something and our entertainment value, we're just justifying that it's a bad film, it didn't do anything, it maybe got one or two laughs, okay? And we've forgotten about the movie by the time we leave the movie theater, right? But like, yeah, you guys are not fully exposed to like Indian films, I guess. But like, I somehow end up watching some or the other bad film or good film. For some reason, I've not found a good Indian film in the past like 10 years at least.
Yeah, no. That's why I said that Taare Zameen Par. I feel like Taare Zameen Par is the best Hindi movie ever made, ever, by far.
They're making a sequel, by the way, now. Sitare Zameen Par.
That is going to be trash. I'm telling you, that's going to be trash from right now.
I think it'll suffer from the sequel fatigue that everyone's is going to. I don't think it's going to be even half as good.
No, it's not about... See, that's the thing, right? Taare Zameen Par was made at a time... forget about the time. I watch it today, it's cinematic. I still get goosebumps at the final scene that happens where like the kid just goes across the screen and then he sees that the teacher is painting him, right? That, the cinematography, the way the camera moves, the way the music escalates, like it's not just the amplitude of the music escalating, it's like the beats coming in and like the various levels of music coming in and like just reaching a crescendo, right? That feeling, I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it, right? That's the kind of filmmaking. And when you look at the entire movie, like, where the kid is crying in the bathroom and like there's like this sad song going on, it is so grounded in Indian culture that it makes the movie great, right? Yeah. And I think I heard someone say this, that most Indian films are trying to copy Westerns and give it an Indian spice. Satyajit Ray movies were the opposite. They were giving they were putting Indian culture at the forefront and then telling stories, right? And we need that. I mean, think about it. We are using Western media, giving it like, what we are doing is basically what Americans do when they make butter chicken.
What do they do?
I love that analogy, dude. I love it so much.
Basically, we are doing to art what Americans do to butter chicken.
Yeah, but what do they do to butter chicken?
They basically don't make it properly. They'll just like they'll take the surface level stuff. Like I've seen a lot of butter chicken just being made like fry it in the oven and like not fry it in the tawa and then like
Oven?
put right. There's no process behind it, like all the process where you put it in a tandoor and stuff like that, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like India is doing, and it's not just art. Everything we are basically streamlining everything, which is not good. There's a limit to which we.
Yeah. And when a good film finally comes out, like Santosh, okay, and then All We Imagine Is Light, which got like the Oscars, etc., they're not allowed to screen on Indian theaters, dude. The director is still struggling to get it on an Indian theater and like let it play. Why couldn't they play it for like few weeks? Be like, okay, you made the country proud. Give one screen from each theater, at least 2 shows per day,
Why aren't
so
they
that
allowed?
the Indians can go watch it. There's some controversial shit over there in that.
Oh.
Yep.
Is it similar to
Yeah.
like how Oppenheimer was censored in India because of the Bhagavad Gita references in the beginning?
No, nothing. Not even that. Dude, it's not given a chance. It's not given a chance to play at the Indian theaters because the Indian theaters and the entire distribution network is owned. There's like a kind of a film mafia, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there is the all the big top productions which are there. They will not allow it to be on theatrical platforms. So they will just directly go to OTT. So you just have to wait for it to come there. That's all.
I think
And
you know,
I've
this-
OTTs are getting
experienced.
common.
I think I've experienced this quote unquote mafia. You see, when it comes to like the Brainrot movies we've seen, like a few years ago, okay, there was a Rajnikant movie that came out, right, and it blew up, went everywhere. Now there's a very popular theater near my home. Okay, it's next to a certain flyover. I think you might know what it is. I'm not going to name it because there's like kind of like some gang stuff over there. But when the Rajnikant movie was out, literally the entire area around that theater, day in, day out, they were bursting firecrackers, they're singing, they're playing the music, etc. And one thing which the theater was doing is, even if they booked all the seats, you could pay like another like just a marginal like $100 or something, and you can like just enter the theater and you can watch the movie. Now, can you imagine how much money they made if like every single show was like booked out like 24/7? They're only playing that single movie, and even if you fill the seats, people are paying extra just to walk in and see the movie. Like it makes sense if these movies are grossing like crazy, right? And if you own a private theater like this, you can make money that way. Why would they want to put some random like movie that requires you to think when you can put this brain rot and attract so many people and make ridiculous stacks?
No, I mean like if you watch some Rajnikant movies, like recent one which was called Kala. Okay, if you watch that, that's actually about communism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you both should go watch Kala. Then there is this other movie. He is like he's like a Leninist in that. Okay, like some movies, okay, Rajnikant just makes based on how the director's vision is, etc. But majority of the movies that he makes is for fan service.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to say
Yeah.
he's a good actor or a bad actor, okay? But the problem is, in my experience, people don't give him reverence as an actor. They treat him like he's an actual god. They don't care about his acting. It's like it's. I mean, it's like Tony Stark is walking on the road in front of you. Like actual somehow Iron Man came out of nowhere and people chase after him. Right. That is the reverence that they give him. He's not even human in some people's eyes. They worship him. It's absolutely crazy.
That's what I was talking about, the celebrity culture earlier.
Yeah, exactly. This is a great example of that.
And
I
it's
like
not
how
just
everything ties up to his manifesto here.
Sorry?
I like how everything in the end ties up to the manifesto he has over
Yeah,
here.
see, that's the thing. When I was creating that manifesto, I was, like you said, you yourself said, right? Like, it is something that you should be learning as a child. These are things that should be inculcated into you as a child. These are not things that adults should be like learning, right? And I know for me, and I'll say this, I come from a middle class, like, average Indian family, right? I didn't know a lot of these things until I reached my 20s. It's just that I realized that this is right? And maybe some of it was because my parents were also nice. They were not like overtly like how I'm overtly stating it. right? They never stated it. For example, like small things that my mom does, like my mom never disrespected any of the maids, or she never, like my dad never disrespected any of the security guards. So it just inculcated into me as well ki, haan bhai, go to a security guard, say namaste to them as well, right? So but I realized that like that is bare minimum, right? You have to go up over and beyond to help them, because at the end of the day, humans are like, you don't get everything on your own, right? And so things like educating like the children of your mates, right? Because clearly they will never go to a good education institution, right? So even if you can teach them, let's say 2-3 hours a week, right, in your free time. And I think one of the things, I think I should add this to the manifesto. I think we should inculcate the art of giving.
Oh, definitely, dude.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Because everything has become about receiving, consuming. It's just so. But yeah, those are very basic things, dude. Like we shouldn't be teaching these things to people, but hey.
Do you want your manifesto to be available for people to see?
Yeah.
I mean,
can we list it as a link?
If you put it as a link,
we'll
we'll link it in the description. If you want. If not, we will respect your privacy.
No, I see. If you post that manifesto and you like, if you text me and I don't reply within 1 week, you'll understand what happened.
What is?
Yeah, that also is there. But I really, like I said, I don't think there is anything that controversial.
It was pretty standard, if you ask
on
me.
Any group.
It's not divisive.
Group.
Like you're not pointing out any specific individuals. You're not mentioning directly. I mean, maybe you might need to change a few words here or there, but it's a very generalized manifesto. It's if you ask me, it's just like improve living. If you ask me, that's more or less what's in it.
It's like shaking a person who's sleeping and being like, "Hey, wake up!" You know. That's what it felt like. That's the vibe I got. Maybe shaking a little aggressively. You know?
It's like you slap him, wake him up.
So yeah, it's. I mean, I'm fine with sharing the manifesto right now. I shared it with a few. So the idea behind the manifesto, and coming back to the question that Neville asked, right? What is the end goal with this manifesto? See, the thing is that the reason this entire country is dying right now, I would say it's dying. It's not improving. Like improving the lives of the top 5%, I don't consider it as improving. I will consider it improvement when women and you know, this is a shocking stat. I'll tell you. In the first 40 days of Pune of 2025, we had 56 cases of sexual harassment against women. That included everything from eve teasing, everything. That is the highest number in over a decade. In fact, that is the highest number ever, probably, right? So I will consider India developed when we have basic civic sense. When women, I don't care about how advanced we are. And this is something that that guy who was showing the Japanese video, he was saying, education is about first making you a human, not first teaching you all the technical things. It's about first teaching you that you need to clean your space. You need to make sure that when you go through the streets, you're not making it inconvenient for other people, right? And these are things that we need to implement right now, because if we don't implement it right now, this country is becoming Europe Part 2. Right? We'll become segregated. Like Kannada people will go on their own. We'll need the Indian visa or something, like Sanskritic visa or something like that. You know how like Europe has Shenzhen, right? So I don't want that, because I see the advantage of a country being multicultural, right? Because you get people from all walks of life, and the diverse culture is what see, there are many advantages. You have better immunity, right? Someone who is traveling across India and like they are like in this whole, like you go from north to south, you're like building a tolerance, you're building like, there's a lot of advantages for being multicultural, right? I don't want India to be divided, right?
Yeah.
And I genuinely do believe, and despite me saying everything against India, I genuinely do believe that if we go back to our culture, how Japanese people are stick to their culture, right? We'll be a civilization as strong as Japan.
but not culture dictated by the politicians and all these.
Exactly.
It's not like someone makes culture and says, now you
Yeah,
follow
we
this.
need to
It's our
discover
own
our
culture.
own culture
Exactly.
by ourselves. That's an extremely important thing, because all these guys do is like glorify the past. We are just filled like anything. Oh, we in Vedas they told us how to launch rockets. Yeah, what the fuck? But then why didn't we launch the first rocket?
I mean, like this
You
is
know?
this is what I like to say to folks like this. Okay, like I don't want to offend them anyway, but like, sure, let's say back then 5,000 years ago we had flying cars and we were going to the moon and back. Let's say that's the case. Okay, what have we done since then?
Exactly my question.
Sure,
Yeah.
it's fine to be proud about that, but we also need to be able to come up to those levels right now. Like, what are we doing right now? It's like we're just lying in our own shit and expecting
Yeah.
the world to come to us.
I want a flying car, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I want a flying car so that I don't have to go over potholes.
Might as well just fix the roads, bro.
I mean, think about it. I'll tell you something. So in my locality, right? So I'm not sure if this happens in Bangalore or wherever you guys live, but I have seen in my locality that they have constructed a side road. Then they realize they have to put gas lines in it. They have
And they dug it up.
broken it up,
Yeah.
dug it up, put the gas lines in. Then again covered it up, made it the entire thing again. Then they realized they need to put electric wires in. They again dug it up, again filled it with electric wires, and then like it's just stupid. And the saddest part is people when Modi or whatever like came in, right? They introduced some BRTS system over here. From day one, I've been saying that BRTS system is useless. And my parents and everyone else who was like, no, you do not understand the visionary that this person is. And I'm like, 10 years later, I still not think at this point it's proven that BRTS is useless.
What is this BRTS?
BRTS is essentially a bus. It's like like you have let's say a three lane road, right? So one of the lanes will be cut off for just exclusively buses.
Okay.
Okay. Now it works in countries where the buses are the primary medium of transport, right? But the growth of personal vehicles in this country means that most people don't travel in buses. And so what happens is you'll have one bus standing in that lane, and now they have like started applying rules. Now like cars can't come into, because earlier when that was there and there was no surveillance, people used to go using cars.
Cars also
Now,
doing that, yeah.
right? Now what would happen? Like let's assume this is the road, right? And this is the space taken by a bus. There's only one bus in that BRTS, but there is this long a line of vehicles that could have easily fit behind the bus, right?
The exact same things
And
here
so
in Bangalore.
Yeah.
And that
but
is-
isn't it working better in Bangalore though?
No,
Like,
not
bus
at
lane
all.
is like
Not at all. See, for example, if I want to go from my area, Banaswari, to Whitefield, for example, right? There's a huge flyover that leads you towards that forum, that Phoenix Mall, whatever. Now, that massive flyover is on a highway, and 1/3 of the road is a bus lane, right? The entire like 10-kilometer stretch, I don't see a single bus. And on these highways, I'm getting traffic. The only reason why traffic is loosening now is because they've opened up the metro line. But still, like, 33% of the road is gone, dude. And I'm a motorcycle rider. I know what it's like to be stuck in traffic. I mean, like, if a motorcycle gets stuck in traffic, you know how two-wheelers are, right? If a motorcycle can get stuck in traffic on a highway, you know traffic's getting bad.
Yep.
Give me 1 second, guys. Bell is ringing.
Go ahead.
You guys continue.
Right.
I mean, we can't really continue, to be fair.
I will continue. No harm, man. It'll be back in 30 seconds. I want to tell Sagar about the film you made.
Which film?
The one with the vibrato.
Oh, the noise pollution one.
Yeah. I mean, Sagar also likes to make these movies, and I want to tell you my experience when I saw that movie for the first time.
I remember your reaction.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember the photos you sent.
What photos did I send?
You sent a picture of your Bible in your
Yeah,
hand.
like after I saw the movie, I had to like bring out both my holy books, one over here, one
Oh
over
my god. He's like Where's the Torah, dude?
Torah I don't have. I need to get one, buddy.
You need the Abrahamic trio.
Yeah. Okay, Sagar, like I thought, what's it called? After all the like political stuff that we're speaking about, I thought we'd bring in something a little lighter. So something which you would be surprised. Our man Pratyush over here, he also makes short films like you.
Oh, like dumb, lame ones.
Oh,
Yes.
buddy, it's like it's almost as bad as the movies you make, dude.
Oh shit!
I
Almost as
remember.
bad.
Okay, you were in Bangalore when you made this movie, right?
No, I made this in college, but like, yeah, it was my original idea.
All right. Okay, no, were you in Bangalore? Like, if you filmed?
No, I was in Pune.
Okay.
Pune.
So it was some movie about like noise pollution or whatever, like PSA types. Bro, I saw that movie and like my eyes opened, dude. I saw the face of God when I saw that movie. In the first 30 seconds, I'm not joking, I had a full body orgasm, dude. That's how intense the experiences were when I saw that movie.
I need to watch this.
Pratyush,
We
can
put
we
the
link
link in
it?
the bio as well.
Can we
We'll link that also in the bio. Yeah.
Oh my God,
So
what
PSA
a...
on noise pollution, is it?
He was so traumatized that we were in a mutual friends Discord server. He basically, the two books that you saw, he held them in one hand like this and took a picture of it and sent it to us, and he's like, I'm holding both the holy books together right now, clenching them.
Nothing could prepare you for the beauty in that film, dude. Like you were talking about how like there's no good films have come out of Bollywood in 10 years when you're sitting on that gold mine over there, dude. It was like the most beautiful thing I ever saw, dude.
Yeah, we need to get Pratyush for another episode.
Yeah, we'll get him, dude. Like
I feel we couldn't like finish even like, again it felt like we didn't go beyond the surface level of things.
Right.
We couldn't discuss like, we dive deep into each thing like that.
Thankfully, our chances of going missing are very less because of we are using English as a language.
Oh, because they won't understand us. Hey, what are you saying,
like
man? They'll make an AI model tomorrow, some Indian AI model to translate it to English, dude. We should be shitting our pants right now.
So I was listening to this guy called, I don't know if you guys follow this stand-up comedian called Daniel Fernandez.
Yeah, he's a good one. Yeah. They went for a stand-up show.
Who, me?
No. Huh?
Your mom and your dad, I think. They went for a stand-up.
I didn't go for it, I guess, yeah.
I think Daniel Fernandez is like one of the like best comedians of India, personally, right? And he makes so many political jokes, and I saw this in a comment, and like they aptly said it. It's like Kunal Kamra makes the same kind of jokes, but he makes it in Hindi, and so he gets trapped. But this guy just keeps going under the radar because half the people are not even educated.
Right.
So see, understanding complex English statements put together. Like, see, for most Indians, understanding complex Hindi, statements put together is a very big hassle, right? Let alone going to a second language. So, but yeah, like, we could unload, like, we could have hundreds of episodes about this. Like, we could go into movies, video games, like the amount of stuff that, like, the amount of blind fanboyism that Indians have towards GTA could be written in a PhD thesis.
Right.
And for no reason. It's like they see nothing besides GTA.
I mean, I have an interesting statement to say. Okay, I've noticed that in other countries, when people want to know how powerful someone's computer is, they'll be like, what graphics card you have, what processor you have, right? Here in India, can your computer play GTA? You can put GTA in your computer. I mean, when I set up Sagar's workstation, okay, the very first game he asked me to get in was San Andreas.
Dude, that had a sentiment. That's the only game I had when I was a child, Vice City. Okay. Then after that, San Andreas came, and it had so much more. You could finally swim, you could finally do all that. And I never had a computer when I was a kid. Right. So I used to go to my friend's house, play GTA on his computer, etc. First finish the group study, then play GTA, and then come back home and think like, oh, if I got to play for 1 more hour, what at all I would do.
So no,
yeah.
I get where you are coming from, right? You are coming from a place of, okay, that's the
Nostalgia.
limitation you had, right? I see so many people who have, like me and Neville, we are like very core gamers, right? I'm even more deep into games, but yeah, he has like that, he has that exposure. He has enough exposure that I would say he's like more of a like a gamer nerd, right? And I have seen so many people, even despite being of that kind of nature, where they have seen other games, they're just like, no, GTA. Why? Because it's the most popular thing ever.
Right. I think Sagar's being a little. He's got his hands full, does he?
Everyone's come back home.
I
It's a
see.
small
Yeah,
choti
yeah.
room.
I think that's an indication of like, we should end this. I think.
I
over
think
here.
we've just
Because-
passed the 90-minute mark.
I'm not satisfied with like leaving so much thing hanging. You need to come back for another episode.
Yeah, sure. But I mean,
But,
truth be told,
yeah.
this was like one of the best. Like we've.
Yeah.
I mean, we
We went in a
we
flow.
had another episode. We shot almost 2 hours, but due to certain censorship reasons, we ended up having to dunk more than half the episode. Whereas over here, I mean, the entire thing, start to finish, it wasn't empty. There's no hot air. We actually spoke about a lot of interesting things, like the socio-political situation of the country is probably a huge mess. Many people don't understand. They just think India, like yoga and ahimsa and nirvana and all, everything's,
charmers.
they think everything's fine over there, but seriously, things here are like so messed up. It's not even just like north versus south as many people think. I mean, it's like neighbor versus neighbor at this point. That crazy.
Dude, intra-state, there's also so many conflicts, like you could go into that, but I feel you should
Are
start
you,
winding up.
Yeah.
you for okay, before we wind up,
Yeah,
you
some
are talking
closing statements.
you are talking about intrastate. You forgot intra-caste.
Intra-caste is like across the country, right?
No. It's dude. Over here, a friend of mine, like he was planning to, like he was of this state only, right? And he was talking to some girl from another city. And Neville, that's not my story. That's someone else's.
I can tell. Yeah, I can tell.
Right.
Yeah.
So he comes from a royal family, like the warrior family. I'll not reveal his surname or anything, but he comes from a royal family. And the girl who's there, she comes from a family of farmers. Now because his parents have brought him up in an urban culture, right? Relatively, he also was part of a village, but they moved to Pune like 10-15 years ago, and so like they have been in an urban what do you call it? Like urban surroundings, right? So his parents had some resistance, but they were fine with it. Like they had resistance ki, let us see the family, let us get to know the family. But the girl's family went ballistic. They didn't allow her to do anything. Like despite it being a higher caste than them, right? You would assume that like if it's a higher caste, they'll be like, okay, just take our girl or whatever, right?
Yeah,
So it's and these differences are for nothing. What difference does it make? Like, I don't get it. Like, there's no point in doing all of this.
Dude, like that, even between Brahmins, even inside Kshatriyas, even inside like Shudras, etc., there's so much inside caste, like I don't know what they're called, subcasteism or whatever, right? Even that is there, very rampant, right? And for example, I came from Goa, so I was not, back then caste system was not a big thing then, okay, but now Goa has become little Sangi. So, but when I first went to Bangalore, first thing they would ask, and I was looking for a place to stay, first thing they would ask, like, the landowner, do what caste? I'd be like, what? I don't know my caste. Like then my dad is answering all the questions like that, and I'm like, okay, this is my caste. Thank you.
I see I think the best way to remove caste system is by shaming people. Like I will literally go and anyone who's saying I want to marry in my own caste, I'll be like, you are an incest person. I'll just straight up say that. I don't care who you are. I'll just go and say you are an incest person. I know. For me, the problem is I was discussing this with my mom, and my mom is like, okay, like we also marry in the same caste, right? And I was like, something called Gotra. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but there's something called Gotra. right?
Okay.
And apparently that has enough genetic diversification that it doesn't create retarded offsprings. Sorry, is that word
Okay.
allowed?
Don't worry, we'll censor it.
Yeah,
Till the
okay.
censor.
So basically, I'll repeat it again so that you can just cut it off. Basically, like, like this Gotra thing is where there's enough genetic diversity where, like, negative things won't happen to your offspring, right? I'm like, science has already said that the more further you go from your gene pool, the better it is for the offspring,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? So if I marry a South Indian girl, that is a much bigger genetic jump and hence a much bigger chance of like something wrong not happening,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, whenever I see someone getting married in their own caste, I'm just going to straight up be like, I'll hold up a paper, I'll on top, and then like whatever the local language is, I'll translate the same word below it and then put it up on a chart paper.
That's a bit extreme if you ask me.
I'm just going to. I'm waiting for the aliens to invade so I can marry one.
You know. The ironic part is that if alien invades, I think humanity will actually unite.
I mean, since you're talking about the genetic stuff, like what could be more genetically diverse?
I mean, hey, don't say that. In India, people will get into beast.
Oh yeah, bro. We're throwing censorship out the window, dude.
Yeah.
All right, let's. I think we should wind up. As we said, Sagar's also things are getting tight on his side.
But it's been like a great episode too.
Yeah.
And if you're okay, we'll put your manifesto in the description and stuff.
I mean, you can make whatever revisions you want. If you have a public version you want to put out there, it's going to go straight in the description.
No, it's fine. Like, see, I'm fine as long as you're fine with the language.
More elaborate version. If you want to make a more elaborate version or whatever, that's also up to you. I mean, it will take at least more than a week for this episode to come out. Yeah,
that's fine. No, so I'm not going to expand it. The idea, as I was saying, the idea behind it is let's get all the smart people together at one place. And instead of like smart people, like not smart, like good people, right? Get good people in place. And then instead of having these movements where like one good person is doing one thing in 2025, another person in 2026, let's get all these people together,
right?
And present as a united front. That is the idea behind that manifesto.
One part of that manifesto really gelled with what we're doing here at NGL. And it was something I had like back when I joined college. It talked about a space or a community where people can come together and meet and discuss. There's a part, I think the final ending part of it has that. And I think in the first episode, Neville asked me, like, why are you doing this? I asked him, he asked me. And if you watch the episode, I say that, hey, we need a space where people can come together and discuss. We do not have the resources or the money yet where we can have a physical space maybe where, people can meet and, people who are retired and children, etc., can come together and be like, okay, what can we do? Or what's the issue? What's bothering? How can we be better? But I felt podcast was a good medium for these kind of ideas which can really inspire and move people. And I felt it was a great space. And today, finally, after this episode or the previous episode also, okay, I feel like we are manifesting that, or like, I'm just using the word manifest loosely. I don't know. Whatever, we're making good use of that.
We can, if you guys invite me for another podcast, like we can go through that manifesto properly. Like just have a podcast, like whatever, like a short podcast where we discuss all the things, all the points line by line, right? Because all of those points can be expanded upon in an infinite amount of like content. Right?
The implications, how to apply, the economic arrangements required, etc. Yeah, definitely.
Actually, what I think would be better, instead of sure, we will do another podcast. I will shoot like a 20-minute, etc. And maybe you can put on one of your channels.
Wait, whose channel?
Marimos, Pratyush's, yeah.
Wait, which channel?
One of yours, if you have a place, because
I don't have anything.
Okay, I don't want to put like the manifesto on NGL because it's like at the end we're just some random podcast, get it? So I was hoping we could do it, but sure, we'll explore that idea down the line. everything said, I think we should give this guy's manifesto a salute.
Yeah, he manifesto, yes, but the bravery that he
Put your
made
hand
us
up,
talk
man,
about these
for the
things.
thumbnail. Put your hand up.
Yeah, sure, yeah, for the thumbnail.
I don't know if I should salute or not, but
Yeah, well, let's salute.
For the
Neville,
Pratyush
can you
manifesto.
look towards the
There
camera
you
and
go.
do that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for the Pratyush manifesto.
this is the thumbnail. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right then. We had
So-
quite a discussion. Like I really liked it. It was fantastic having you on, dude. Like, thank you for coming. Really, really, really great discussion today. And to those viewing, once again, like as you might have seen in the previous episodes, we talk about literally anything. If you want a medium to be able to speak or have anything general topic that you want to just discuss openly, go ahead and reach out to us. Your email is in the discussion in the description. Instagram's there as well. Give us a DM, and if we believe you're worth having on, we'd love to have you. Right, Sagar, you wanna wind this up?
Yeah. But first, I want to know, how was your experience, Pratyush, for the podcast with us today?
yeah, it was pretty great. Like Neville pretty much summed it up pretty like it is a platform where we can talk about things, right? And thankfully we are English, so less trouble for now before AI takes over the world. But no, these kinds of discussions, that the manifesto was exactly for this, right? That I get together with like-minded people who will. You don't need to follow 100% of that, right? Even if we start inculcating that within people, right? Like let's start doing small things, like getting people together. Like for example, we all three of us come from very different cultures, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
despite that we have similar values, right? And it's because good values are universal. They are not restricted to culture, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
This
thank you for
right here
having
is a
me.
microcosm of what can be possible for the entire country or the world. How
Exactly.
three people from different walks of life can come together and agree despite having different opinions and different things like that. Yeah, it's great. But thanks for coming at last minute notice. I mean,
It was really nice. Dude.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
And thank you for having me, because this was a very constructive discussion, and like it feels nice to get this all out there, because you talk to parents and they don't understand how the things, they're like Chalta hai, right? And then you talk to like your peers, like 90% of your peers, right? They don't understand this thing. They are also in that survival mode ki want a job, want a promotion, what blah blah blah. They're like their rent is like not filled and blah 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 blah. So yeah, it's like good to have these talks, because and of course you guys have an audience already. You guys have your own set, and that is the idea. Like I spread this in my family, in my friends. You guys spread this in your family and your friends, and then it just becomes a big clump of people who are supporting us, like one cause, right?
Yeah.
And the cause is not wrong. The way it's done is also not wrong, and that is something we need. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Take care.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much.
To all the viewers,
And this is NGL, the People's Podcast.
People's Podcast episode 2. Do like, do subscribe, share, favorite, the usual shebang. Thank you for watching. I've been Neville. That's Sagar signing off.
Bye bye. Take
Bye.
care, guys. Bye-bye.